Welcome to the Unshakable Growth. I'm Esty, and let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Unshakable Growth podcast, where we dive into stories that inspire personal transformation, resilience, and living life on your own terms. Today I've got a fun and energetic guest with me, Laura, who is the living proof of resilience that can turn challenges into opportunities. In her mid-20s, Laura faced the battle of Crohn disease, but she has now emerged stronger and healthier with the help of Happy Juice from Amare Global throughout her recovery journey and has now become one of the business partners. She is also thriving in her career as a marketing manager for luxury hotel amenities, jet-setting around the globe. Laura's story is one of transformation, and I can't wait for all of you to hear how she balanced it all with grace and passion. It is my absolute pleasure to have you here, Laura.
Thank you so much, Esty. It's so fun connecting. I know we've briefly worked at previous other companies together, and I love that this online world brings us back together.
It's such a regret that we only worked with each other for such a short time, but connecting with you on social media, it makes me feel like I've known you forever.
Yes, likewise.
Yeah. All right. Let me dive into my first question because knowing that when you were working with me in your previous company, you actually took quite a few weeks of leave or months, I believe, because you were diagnosed with Crohn's disease, right? Can you share a
Yes.
little bit what is Crohn's disease?
Absolutely. So, a Crohn's disease was completely new to me. I had no idea what it was. I had never
Mm-hmm.
heard of it before. And maybe for anyone listening to this podcast, you might be wondering what Crohn's disease is as well. So, I'll try and explain it in very simple terms. But Crohn's disease is a chronic condition that causes inflammation in your digestive tract. So, think your stomach, having to go to the toilet, let's say.
Uh-huh.
And that kind of ranges from mild to severe pain. It really depends kind of how active your Crohn's disease is. And, you can have stomach pain symptoms, diarrhea, fatigue, cramping, or bloating. So it can be really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also difficult too because from, I guess, perceiving it from an outside person's view, I guess from myself, I look completely healthy on the outside, but I'm kind of suffering in silence internally with pain.
Ah. And how did you first find out that you are suffering with the Crohn's disease?
Yeah, so back in 2022, so 2 years ago, I was
Mm-hmm.
having excruciating bloating pain. Like, honestly, I looked 6 months pregnant, and my stomach was just so inflamed, and it was really, really painful.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to my doctors, and originally they were like, they thought it was potentially menstrual pain. And I was like, no, 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 this is something different. So I ended up going to the emergency, and they ended up thinking it was my appendix. And they're like, they were going to prep me for surgery, and they thought I had to, get my appendix removed.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of was all really up in air. And I think we'll continue kind of speaking in this segment of how that kind of all came out to be. But I ended up having to take 3.5 months off of work.
Whoa.
Was yeah, in and out of the hospital. And it wasn't until after I was rushed to an emergency surgery that they were
Mm-hmm.
able to then diagnose me with Crohn's disease.
Wow. That's a little bit scary over there because what if they diagnose it wrongly and get your appendix removed? I mean, it doesn't harm in any way, but it's scary if it's wrongly diagnosed.
Yes, absolutely. And so when I originally went to the hospital, they did a CT scan, and my body
Mm-hmm.
had so much inflammation in it. And that kind of explains the bloating because it was just so inflamed. And they could tell I had an infection, but they couldn't tell what it was. And
Mm-hmm.
so, they put me through antibiotics in the hospital for the week, and then they brought the inflammation down. So then they thought that, that would help, and I was discharged. But then 3 weeks later, I was rushed back to the hospital again in the same pain, and that's where they were like, okay, we're going to need to operate. And they ended up finding an inflamed, kind of like an inflamed cyst on my intestine. So that's what they actually ended up cutting out
Mm-hmm.
along with my appendix. So I had about 20 centimeters of my intestine removed that was causing all the inflammation and pain.
Wow, 27 meters. That's the large intestine?
Part of it, yes. So the
Okay.
lower intestine connected to the appendix. They kind of cut
Oh,
all
okay.
of that
Yeah.
out and then reconnected it and then rejoined it.
Ooh. Wow. So, hearing about your journey with Crohn's disease, it must have challenged you on many levels. Does that actually affect your like your daily activities at all?
I think just my day-to-day activities post surgery was really focused on recovery. So
Mm-hmm.
after the surgery, I had a week in the hospital that I was monitored, and then post being discharged from the hospital, I had another about 6 week recovery. But even from then, because the severity of the operation, I had an incision about this large, about 20 centimeters on my stomach. And so I wasn't allowed to lift. I wasn't able to, use my stomach to do, how you get out of bed in the morning. You would kind of do a sit up and an ab
Yeah.
crunch. I had to alter that and change how I would even get out of bed. I'd have to roll on my side and push myself up. So kind of day to day post operation was very much different from my usual. And then it
Mm-hmm.
was managing how all of a sudden now I would live with Crohn's disease. What did I need to do? I was going into the hospital. I was, a 25-year-old at the time, completely healthy. I didn't have health problems. And now all of a sudden, it's like, okay, we need you to come back for ultrasounds and blood work. And it was just kind of all of a sudden, like now my life revolved around my health. And that's kind of something you take for granted when you are healthy.
Yeah, that's right. I guess a lot of people don't actually realize that until really serious things happen to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And throughout this experience with Crohn's disease, how did that experience actually shift your mindset and outlook on life, especially on, tough days?
Yeah. And I speak about this so openly now because
Mm-hmm.
this has been one of my biggest challenges I've ever faced. Being, and I might get emotional, I always do when I talk about this because it's had that much impact on me.
Mm-hmm.
It, really shook me to my core because I'd mentioned previously that, I was a healthy 25-year-old and all of a sudden my life stopped. I was dealing with physical pain. I was dealing with physical recovery and, mourning my old body in the sense of now all of a sudden I have to go to the hospital all the time. I need blood work all the time. And that's kind of what I was dealing with physically, but then also mentally, I really hit my lowest of lows, mourning my old body and just in the sense of kind of now realizing that this was my new life. So from, yeah, really mentally struggling to physically recovering, physically still being in pain, I was like, I need to shift something. I need to find something, how am I going to get over this? Because yes, right now I feel like I was at the bottom of the hole. And I went and I sought help. I went and got a psychologist to really help me mentally through all of it. And I really then made it my now still goal and mission to focus on health and wellness.
Wow. And so throughout this journey, what is the one main thing that you learn about your mindset shift?
Yep, absolutely. I think I had a light bulb moment with my psychologist. I felt
Mm-hmm.
so alone and I didn't know anyone else with Crohn's disease. And I kind
Mm-hmm.
of then was like, this is not right. I need to make this my mission. If it's one other person that I can help just simply by sharing my story and that
Yeah.
it does get better and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, then
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was going to do. So now, and that's kind of where I've come on this podcast because that's where really we've still stayed connected in the sense that I've made my channel a
Mm-hmm.
place where, I share my story. I connect with other people with Crohn's disease, make them feel like they're not alone
Yeah.
in this journey.
Yeah, that's sounds really amazing because yeah, it's not easy to battle such a heart disease your own, right? And it's all the support from the families and friends that are really important to help you strive through this journey.
Totally.
Your recovery journey is such inspiring, and from battling from Crohn's disease to becoming now a wellness advocate and also a business partner with Amare Global. What makes you decide to take the first step in this transformation, and how did you actually get to know Amare Global in the first place?
Absolutely. So Amare actually kind of found me. I was, post surgery, and I was getting better. I was working with my psychologist. I was focused on my health, my nutrition. I gave up drinking alcohol. So a lot of those things were on my path to recovery and me finding something to help me even further. And I kind of had, I was jumping on Instagram and I said, guys, this is where I'm at. Does anyone have anything that they recommend? And my girlfriend, Kara, I love her to bits. She's from my hometown in Canada.
Yeah.
And she was like, Laura, you need to try this happy juice. And I'm like, what is happy juice? This sounds so silly. This is not going to work. And she's like, Laura, just please trust me and try this. And I feel like it's going to help you so much. And I was like, okay, all right. I'm running out of options. I'm post surgery and I'm still having pain. I don't know what to do. My mental health isn't great. I'm trying to be a wellness advocate, and I was still feeling lost. And so about a year ago now, I got my hands on Happy Juice, and it has completely changed my life from mentally, physically, socially, my community, everything. And if you haven't heard about Amare, Amare is new to Australia. And the company itself, Amare actually stands for love. So that is the
Oh,
foundation of the company. And I get so excited when I talk about it because Amare is the first company ever that is a mental wellness company. So that means out of everything that they do and that they create, the focus of that product is to support your mental wellness.
wow. But I believe it actually helps in both mental and physical wellness as well, right? Looking at Happy Juice, it's like, oh, it actually helps you recover throughout your journey.
Absolutely. And I think I would say it supports my journey because it's a supplement, right? So it's an all natural supplement that supported my system. And how it does that is it's a science backed product. And the product actually is full of stuff you would find that the earth grows. So mango leaf, lychee fruit, palm fruit, lion's mane, and all of those are actually supporting your gut. So a lot of, if you haven't heard of this, your gut is also can be known as your second brain. So your gut produces so much of your serotonin, your dopamine, your GABA. It supports your stress regulators and your transmission. It holds 70% of your immune system. So that's why it says you are kind of what you eat, because what you're filling your body, your gut is going to digest and be able, so if you have a healthy gut, and through doing that through the happy juice and supporting my gut, that my gut is able to connect with my brain and send the right support and signals and cues to be able to support both my gut health and my mental health.
Wow, wow. It's amazing to hear about this because I've never known that Happy Juice actually helps in these different ways. Yeah, to help everyone to recover from whatever disease that they are having. And I'm just wondering if a normal person would be able to have Happy Juice as well, or is it only someone with that diagnosed with some disease to have them?
For sure. So I would just kind of remove the word disease completely. So happy juice is
It's just a supplement.
it's just a supplement. So it doesn't cure anything. It's not,
Oh.
referred to for a disease. So I would just kind of stick those two in completely different areas.
Mm-hmm.
Amare basically is for mental health and gut health, and it's a product that's all nutritious to support the system. So you could have an SD. My partner drinks it and he's healthy. He doesn't have anything. My
Mm-hmm.
friends have taken it as well, and it's just like you might have a vitamin C daily, or you might have, a magnesium vitamin. So this is just another form of a supplement that you can take that's
Mm-hmm.
going to help support your system.
Amazing. And so, just wondering, what is the most rewarding part being involved with Amare Global, especially now that you are one of the business partners?
Yeah, absolutely. So I probably, this is what I least expected, but the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of stems back to originally when I was, when I fell sick, and that I felt so alone because I didn't know anyone else with it. And that now when I've connected with this community and I hear other people's stories, everyone has suffered through something, everyone, whether it's a physical illness or a mental illness or a financial downfall or anything like that. And we're all people. We all have, if you want to call it, maybe flaws, but
Yeah.
everyone at a time suffers through something. So being able to be in a community of like-minded people who want to create a positive impact to help other people through that has been one
Mm-hmm.
of my biggest takeaways and joys from Amare.
Yep.
A company that is so focused on mental wellness in a world where now, people say we went through a pandemic, but the real pandemic is the post-pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
even just this stat, 42% of Australians from the age of 16 to about 85 has once in a life struggled with mental health. Like that is huge. That's like nearly 50% of people who are struggling through mental health. So to be able to provide someone support through that by a change in your diet or your nutrition or your wellness is such a positive thing that I just shout it from the rooftop because it's helping other people.
Yeah, I think it's really true that what you say is surrounding yourself with a really supportive community can actually helps you to go further and help more people in the same mission that you're on to, right? Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, no matter, is it in your personal life or is it at work life, it is really important to surround yourself with the right people that you want to be with.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, just wondering if this journey actually contribute to any of your confidence and growth. I can see that you're such a confident person and so energetic every day. Yeah, just wondering if the community with Amare actually helps you in this sense.
Absolutely. And I think that also comes, I keep saying it comes back to, that feeling of being lonely. When you
Mm,
surround yourself by people, like people feed on each other's energy, people feed on positivity, right? Or people will feed on negativity. So it's really important, I think, what circle you're surrounding yourself by and having that positive circle. Um, I think I've completely forgot your question, but I hope that answered it.
oh yeah, I can repeat my question again.
Sure.
So just wondering, yeah, just wondering if this journey of you getting yourself into the community of Amare and surrounding yourself with these people, does that help you to grow your confidence and your personal growth?
Yes, absolutely. And I'll give you an example of this. So, through sharing my story online, I've connected to so many individuals who have also been, suffering in silence. And they've, connected with me, or they've tried Happy Juice to help them through whatever that could be.
Mm-hmm.
The responses that I get from their testimonies give me so much confidence in the sense that their journey has now changed and I've impacted one person's life. And through
Yep.
that, it gives me more confidence to share my story because I know that it's helping positively impact other people's lives.
Yeah. Wow. And does that actually also affect you on a personal level as well?
Totally. Personally, my health has been the best that it's been in 2 years. It continues to improve. And I think not just in supplements, but I've had, a light bulb moment. I've changed a lot of my day-to-day routines. I've given up alcohol, which was a big thing for me. Before I kind of went into the hospital. That's a bit of another side story. But, I think feeding yourself whole foods, nutritious foods, the right supplements, removing alcohol, getting your right sleep, you know, getting your body is the temple that's taking you through this world that we're living in, and making sure that you're keeping that healthy is, what I think is going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah, there's always a saying that you are what you eat, right? So it is important of looking after what you are feeding yourself, like what you said
Of
just now.
course.
Eating those
Of course.
nutritions, whole
Yes.
food, organic food, it's really important for us. Yeah, for our health in the long way.
Absolutely. And I think not just one thing, will fix everything. I think it's
Yeah.
a combination of healthy changes, which is,
Mm-hmm.
which has gotten me to where I am now.
Amazing, amazing to hear that. And I know that other than Amare Global, you also actually have a full-time job as a marketing manager for luxury hotel amenities, which sounds so amazing. And I can see that you posted on your socials, you've been flying around to different countries. I'm just wondering, how do you maintain your work-life balance with such a busy life?
Absolutely. So I think it comes back to prioritizing self-care. So we mentioned this before, your health is number one. So you need to make sure you're listening to your body. I feel like we live in a hustle, go, go, go culture.
Yeah.
And if anything, this experience has taught me that I need to listen to my body and stop and pause when it's telling me to rest. Instead of, fighting through that pain or fighting through that potential cold or sickness, or, even at the gym, it's like, work yourself until you're sweating and you feel like you're going to die. But in the
Yeah.
sense of, it's more about soft girl era. And is it, a Pilates class instead of a HIIT class because your body's feeling a little more tired? And I think you can take that not just in the gym, but you can take that to your day-to-day work, right? So making sure you're scheduling time to switch off, making sure, you're getting your 8 hours of sleep. My biggest thing on my phone is my D&D. I have my set time of my day, and when my D&D is on, I know that I'm
Yeah.
resting and recharging, so that then when I come back, I can handle both things clear-headed and be able to actually perform better at what I'm doing.
Yeah, that sounds so good because I really like when you say scheduling your D&D time, right? So because I think we always schedule things for work or schedule
Yes,
things with purpose, but we never schedule a rest time or an off day or certain
absolutely.
hours for us to switch off and get away from the screens. Yeah, I think it's a really good a little gesture that we can put into our daily lives.
Absolutely. And I think, the pressure of social media and social groups and, making sure you're staying up to date with everyone. Yes, that's a big factor, but also how good would you feel if you took a full Saturday or a full weekend to just be at home, reset, clean up, tidy, recharge, and, have some alone time? I know that might be very scary to extroverts. I was a super big
Yeah.
extrovert. And I think through this experience, it's, given me that balance to also be able to enjoy me time and being by myself personally to recharge.
Yeah, that's a really good advice. And just bringing back to your Crohn's disease, if you could give one piece of advice for someone that is facing such a disease, would what kind of advice would you give them?
Absolutely. I would say find a community, whether, it's whether you find that on social media, whether that's, a psychologist, find someone who you can talk to. And for me, you know, yes, your family is amazing, but sometimes they can't relate to what you're going through. So potentially connecting to someone who's been through a similar scenario might just give you that extra support that you need, or going to a counselor or a psychologist because they have no idea or a view on your life or the people who are in it. So it kind of gives you a fresh perspective having outside eyes look in.
And I believe people that go through the same experience or are in the same stages of life, they will understand you better and will be able to support you even more, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's such an inspiring journey. And one last question for me. If you could
Sure.
share one daily practice that keeps you grounded, positive, and growing, what would it be?
I'm gonna say it's my supplement drink. And the
Yeah.
reason why, it's something I love. I take it consistently, and it's something I never miss because one, it tastes amazing. The other, it's giving me my mood support, it's giving me my energy support, and it's giving me my gut health. And so it helps keep me grounded every single day, and I know that I'm ready to conquer my day without it. I personally don't drink coffee. The coffee caffeine thing doesn't work
Yeah.
for me. So instead of a daily coffee, I go for my daily drink.
Wow. That's a really good advice, and also I believe that is so helpful that a lot of testimonial has been published on the website itself, and I believe those testimonials speaks for it. Wow,
Definitely. I'm so thankful for it. And I'll continue, to try and help other people and share my story through it.
amazing, amazing. Well, I guess time is really short. It is such an inspiring conversation that I had with you, Laura. Knowing that you overcome Crohn's disease to thriving as a globetrotting marketing manager and also a business partner with Amare. Your journey is very powerful and a reminder of how resilience, positivity, and confidence can truly transform our lives. So if Laura's story has
Thanks.
resonated with you, be sure that you check out her work and stay connected with her journey, which I'll be sharing her social links on the description below. And just remember, here on Unshakable Growth podcast, we are all about pushing through challenges and growing the best version of ourselves. Until next time, keep growing, stay confident, and never stop belief in your own potential. Thank you, Laura. Thank you once again to coming into my podcast.
Thanks, Esther.
Thanks for tuning in the Unshakable Growth. Stay unshakable, and I'll catch you in the next episode.